Welcome to Office 2010 video project number 5. In this video, the bulk of what we're going to do is talk about Word because we're in the middle of the Word chapters in our textbook. But here's the list. We're going to talk a little bit about backup. We're going to have to download some homework files and zipped files and some files to use during this video. We'll talk about navigation tricks, selection tricks, formatting, inserting picture, text effect styles, changing styles, borders, and document properties. The first thing we want to do is open up Windows Explorer. I'm going to Window E. Now, in the last video, you remember I was using my old iPod Shuffle to store folders and files. So I'm going to click here, and you can see on the selected on the left of Windows Explorer, I look over here, and there's my Highline folder. Right? And 2 videos ago, I was using Lexar. But I actually, when you look at Lexar, I moved that Highline folder over to here. But now what I'd like to do is I'm going to keep one copy here, and I'm going to back it up. So I'm going to click here. And you can prove to yourself this is the same folder we have with all of our folders and all of our files inside there. But once I select here, I'm going to copy this folder. And everything inside will be copied also. Control-C is the keyboard shortcut for copy. And then I'm going to click here. Notice how easy in Windows Explorer you go from one drive to another on the left. I click here, and I use the keyboard shortcut Control-V for paste. And there we have it. So from this point going forward in this class, I momentarily got jumped back over here. You could use your cursor and click on the taskbar to go back to Windows Explorer, or you could do Alt-Tab. As always, I have a file open. There's my video recorder. There's the iTunes pop-up that if I don't leave it open, this won't be able to be read. And here's Windows Explorer. Now, I'm going to eject this, and I'm going to use this one from now on in this class. But occasionally, I'm going to back up. Very important to back up. Right click, and I'm going to eject it by pointing to eject. And then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to right click, close window, or Alt F4. By the way, all the files in this video, you can either go to our class website. We have a class management system. There's an external site, and there's a link below the videos if you want to go and find out where to download these. All right. Now, we need to open up a website. I have 3 applications open. I'm going to go to this blue E, or you could go up to Start, Programs, Internet, and then this one. We need to go and download some files. Now, you guys in the class can go to the class management system or click on the link below the video. I'm going to go to right here. It's taken a long time. Now, as the years have gone by, we've gotten more and more impatient when things don't work quickly. But that is ridiculously slow right there. All right. They're actually located here, too. If you click on the link below the video, that's where you go. I'm going to go to our class website, which is Business 216. And then we have them segregated by Windows Explorer, Word. I'm going to click on Windows Explorer because that is where our homework files to download for homework. Now, I'm going to click this one time, and it's going to pop up, and it's asking you want to save. Now, this is zipped, so we're going to have to save it and then unzip it. I'm going to save, and then I'm going to go to my Lexar. I'm going to go to Highline. I'm going to go to Winter. I'm going to go to Business 216. I'm going to go to Homework. And then right in this homework right here, so to Homework, I'm going to load it, and it's going to create a new zipped folder right here. So I'm going to click Save. Now, if this takes too long, I'll hit pause. And the zipping will take a while. It doesn't look like it's going to take too long, huh? The unzipping, I mean, when we try to unzip it. It's hard to find the zipper. Sometimes if you grab the title bar and shake it, it goes faster. Okay, so it's copying here. See, I shook that so hard it opened up this. Not really. That's not what happened. All right, I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go to Windows Explorer. I'm going to use Alt-Tab, Tab. So the key to that is you hold Alt and tap Tab as many times as you want. All right, and then I'm going to go look inside of here. I'm just clicking those pluses. Homework. And now I'm going to click on homework. Sorry, click on homework, and there it is. Now, this step, I'm probably going to have to hit pause. But actually, so the way we're going to do it is you're in Windows Explorer. You right-click, go to Send To, and then, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, that's how you, we'll do that trick later in this class when we learn how to upload test results. We just want to extract all. Excuse me, extract all. And it's asking me, where do you want to extract this? And notice it's got the exact path. So I'm going to click. There's the homework folder. I'm going to click Extract. All right, I'll have to click pause and then come back here. Now, when you get all done downloading and clicking the Close dialog boxes, you'll see when you click on the Homework folder, there's our zipped folder right there, and there's our unzipped one. So I'm going to come over here, down here. There's the zip one, but I'm going to click the plus again, and you can see there's some folders. If I click on this one, there's Word. And inside, you'll have to zip these, but there are the files. Now, we are actually not going to need very many of these files, just a few of them. But for example, in the very first homework problem from the textbook, you have to get a picture from there, or a couple pictures. You don't have to use these pictures. Remember, I'm more interested in that you know how to insert a picture than that you find the exact picture. But anyway, we downloaded those. And I downloaded them all because I don't know exactly which homework problems we're going to do and which files we're going to need. So we downloaded them all. All right, now we downloaded that. We need to go to our website and download another file. Now, for those of you enrolled in the class, you'll use our course management system, Angel, and you can get to our class content section. Or you can click on the link directly below the video. I'm going to get to it here. Wow, that's taken a long time there. Now, you know, over the years, we've gotten more and more impatient as things get slower and slower. But that is too slow. That's too slow. This is, I'm on campus shooting, and that server computer's right built one building over. OK, so some of you can go to here and get it. I'm going to click right on this 216. Here's our 2010 section. By the way, I have videos for how to do this in 2007 and 3. We're going to go to, we just went there, downloading our files we need for our homework. I'm going to click on Word. Now, in this class, in all the chapters we study, these files here are the ones you download. These are my basic notes. I just have some topics we're going to cover in the videos and a few keyboard shortcuts and maybe a keynote. Most of the content's in the book. This is for reading. These are for using during the video projects. Anytime you see start file, that's something we're going to open up and use while you watch the video. I'm going to download this, so I'm going to click. Never click open. Do not click open. You want to save it to your computer. In some cases, if you click open and work on the file, you will not be allowed because you don't have the rights to save the file. So if it has a save, click Save. Now we're going to save it to our class notes. Save it to your file, your folder somewhere on your computer or your jump drive, and then you can do whatever you want with it. All right, now, in earlier versions, we would always have to click over here or here. But notice in Windows 2007 Save As, you actually have a file pathway up here. Now notice there's class notes, so I can actually click right on this and point to Word, because that's where I want to save it. And sure enough, that's one Word document that we already created in video 4. So now I'm going to click Save. Now, this is the fine name for right now. This is the start file. But when we open it up, we're going to change the name because we want to keep the start file and then create a new file from that. Notice here also that it doesn't show the extension like we saw earlier in Windows Explorer. It's perfectly all right. You can still select the type in the extension. It just doesn't show the extension here in the Save As dialog box. I'm going to click Save. I'm not going to click Open. I'm going to click Close. And I'm going to go over to Windows Explorer, Alt-Tab. And then I'm going to tab, tab, tab till I get to the Windows Explorer, and then let go. All right, now I'm going to collapse this homework. I don't want to see all that. I'm going to uncollapse the class notes, go to Word. And now I want to open this. Notice it's Start File. I select it, and to open it, I simply hit Enter. Now we're going to build a flyer in this class. Before we specifically work on formatting and inserting pictures and things like that, I do want to talk about navigation and selection. Now, what is navigation? Well, navigation is just how do I get to here to the end of the document, for example. Or if I'm here, how do I get to the end of the line? Well, you can see we could use our mouse. But I want to show you some keyboard shortcuts, which can definitely speed things up. Now, we know the arrow keys. Where are the arrow keys? The arrow keys are to the right of the normal keypad. Not only that, but those are the arrow keys right above are the arrow keys are Home, End, Page Up, and Page Down. Also Insert and Delete, but Insert and Delete are not navigation keys. All of those keys are navigation keys, and we will use them a lot in this class. Just the basics. How about going to the right one character at the time? Right arrow. This is important. Sometimes you need to just move a few characters, not only in Word, but in PowerPoint, in a title on a slide, or in Excel in a formula. Left arrow, one character at a time. Now, what do the up and down arrows do? Oh, you can see they go up or down a line, called navigation keys. Now, I want to know how to quickly go to the beginning of the line and the end of the line. Now, this is important. If you want to go to the end of the line, just say you want to start typing something at the end. Or over in Excel, you want to type something at the end of the formula. Hit the End, E-N-D key. Similarly, and we've already seen this trick, the Home will go to the beginning of the line. Again, that's important. Maybe you want to jump to the beginning of the line and hit Enter to push this line down and add a new line. Or in Windows Explorer, we saw we wanted to go to the front of the file name and add something different. Same with the formula in Excel, go to the front. So End, Home, End, Home. I love that. Finally, the last two navigation tricks we want to learn are how do you get to the end of the document? Well, you could click here. But Control End is much faster, especially if you have a huge document that's 16 pages long, or the Excel file is really big. Or Control End, that gets you all the way to the end. Maybe you're in PowerPoint, you have 30 slides, and you just want to jump to the last one. Hey, what does Control Home do? Oh, Control Home goes to the top. So totally awesome in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and totally great keyboard shortcut. By the way, that works in most websites too. So if you're 6 pages down near the bottom and you want to jump to the top, Control Home. Navigation keys, navigation tricks. Now selection tricks. Well, we know what selecting is. You highlight a word like this, and you add some formatting or delete or whatever. All right, how do you highlight a word? Double click the word. How do you highlight the whole paragraph? Triple click the whole paragraph. I'm going to click over here. Another way to select an entire line, like in this case, when we triple click, that highlights the whole paragraph. In our case, there was just one line in this paragraph. You can see that paragraph. By the way, if you don't have these turned on, turn them on. Another way to do that is to use the selection bar. Now, this is called a margin right here. And when we do our page setup and learn about our 3 levels of formatting in Chapter 2, we'll talk more about margins. But in the margins, if you put your cursor, you see that sideways diagonally pointing white arrow. This is called the selection bar. You can take your arrow and just boop, click right next to the line, and it will select the entire line, just like that. Selection tricks. Now, a couple more selection tricks. We double click and select a word. Sometimes, though, you don't want the whole word. And sometimes it's hard to get your cursor just right. You know, it's going like this back and forth, and you only want to get to that U. Well, you can click at the beginning of the line, hold Shift, and then arrow, 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 arrow. And there you have it. That's also helpful in Windows Explorer when you're doing file names, PowerPoint titles, or Excel formulas. So I'm holding Shift and then clicking my arrow. Some more selection tips. How about Control A? What does Control A do? Control A selects the entire, in our case, Word document. If you were in a PowerPoint title placeholder, it would highlight the whole placeholder. If you're in Excel and an empty cell, we'll see later, it highlights all the cells. But Control A, very handy. We'll, in fact, use that in just a moment when we start our health food flyer project. Another totally important selection trick. How in the world, actually, let's start with this one. What if I wanted to highlight from here all the way to there? Well, obviously, you saw what I did right there. I-beam, click and drag. Another way to do it is to click over here and drag. So I clicked and dragged. Still another way, and usually in Excel and file management, this is sometimes even more handy. You have your cursor at the beginning, and then hold Shift and click at the end. So what it is, click at the beginning, hold Shift, click at the end. Everything in between is highlighted. Even more important than that one is how about this one? How in the world did I do that one? What if I wanted to add formatting to both of these items exactly the same, and I didn't want to do it 2 different times? You select the first one, and then hold Control and click on the last one. That'll be totally important in Excel too. We want to format different cells that are not next to each other. This is actually called non-adjacent or non-contiguous. Also in PowerPoint, you can have 3 slides that are not next to each other, and you want to delete them. So you go tuk, 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 and then delete. All right, those are selection tricks. Before we get on to our formatting and our pictures and all that kind of stuff, we do want to talk about the 3 levels of formatting. Now, we're not technically going to talk about the 3 levels of formatting until chapter 2 or 3. I forget which one. And there we'll have a whole video just on the levels of formatting. And the levels of formatting are character level formatting. That's like adding bold to a letter. Paragraph level formatting. That's like adding center. And then section level formatting. We'll talk about that one later. All I want to do is give you a little preview of the difference between character level formatting and paragraph level formatting. Now, let's highlight this word. Character level formatting, just if you add bold, Control B. Or I wanted to add some font color. And I always get confused between this one and this one. These are the same icons in Excel also. Just look for the letter A. That's the one that adds color to the font. Now I'm going to add a blue like this. That's font. We use the font group, but that's character level formatting. Now, I want to show you where there's a list of all of the character level formatting or font related formatting. You can either click here. Notice the keyboard shortcut there. You can get to that. Or I'm going to click Escape. You can Control D, as you saw. That's a keyboard shortcut. But you know what? I never remember that one. I actually learned the one Control Shift F. And those are in our notes if you download those. All right, so font. All of these things here, that's character level formatting. And when you add character level formatting, the actual formatting is stored in the characters. Each individual character carries that kind of specific code. We'll compare that in a moment when we do paragraph level formatting. When you store paragraph level formatting, it's actually stored in that paragraph mark. That's why, another reason why they're so important to have turned on. All right, now you can play around this with yourself. Font, font style, size. Ooh, underlining. Right, so you can underline it. Oh, and look at this. That's so cool. There's a preview. Now, you can have fun with this. Strike through, that's for like when you get something off the list. Double strike through, outline, shadow. There's all sorts of things. You can play with these. All caps. Hidden. I never use that, but I know some people that do. That means it only shows up when you look at it on the screen. When you print it out, it actually won't show up. All right, I'm going to click OK. I do want to talk just for a moment about these two. I'm going to come over here. And actually, I'm going to click right here. And I want to talk about superscript and subscript. This is not part of this flyer project, but it is related to character level formatting. I'm going to type x2 space x2. Now in math and statistics, sometimes you have x squared, which means x times x. So you can implement that kind of formatting using character level formatting. Highlight the 2. Control Shift F, or however you open that, and just do superscript. And sure enough, oh, x squared. Subscript is the other one. X sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 2 in algebra or statistics. You see this a lot. It just means there's lots of x's, and you have to differentiate between them. Control Shift F. Oh, and subscript. All right, so there's some character level formatting. Now I'm going to Control Z, 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 Z. That's undo. Right? I just Control Z'd a bunch. Actually, I'm going to Control Y, 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 Y. There's another trick here. You can come up here if you have a lot of undoing. Oh, there's a list, and it reminds you of all the things. So you can come up here and just highlight them and undo exactly to whichever point you want. All right, that was character level formatting. Now let's look at paragraph level formatting. Now watch this. When I do paragraph level formatting, I don't have to highlight the whole paragraph. I can just have my cursor anywhere in the paragraph. Here's the paragraph group. There's the paragraph dialog launcher. Let's just do alignment center. And sure enough, it centers the whole paragraph. Now, in this example, we'll talk about more about paragraph level formatting when you actually have typed text and there's a whole paragraph. But you get the idea. There's a difference between character level and paragraph level formatting. Now, the paragraph that alignment center is actually stored right here in this paragraph mark. All right, so paragraph level, character level formatting. Now let's get on to some formatting here. First thing I'd like to do is I'd like to increase the font size, center everything, do a little bit of formatting here and there, and insert a picture. Now I'm not going to do as good a job as the textbook does at fancy formatting. I'm just going to do some basics here. First thing, increase font size for the whole document. I'm going to Control A, which means select all. I could go up here and watch this. As I go like this, I can see what's called live preview. I'm not clicking, I'm just dragging. That's a live preview. So I'm going to say 24. Now I'm going to Control Z. I'm going to show you another way to do this. Control square brackets. Increase font size. So open square bracket and close square bracket. They're kind of right below backspace and to the left a little bit. So if I do Control close square bracket, it increments it one font size, 1 point at a time. One font size at a time. So I can just tap this until I get what I want. So that's another way to do it. The open square bracket reduces the size. This is actually a good trick sometime over in PowerPoint too when you want to fit something exactly to the placeholder. Now with everything still highlighted, I wanted to add center alignment to everything. You can either click right there or you can use Control E. So very quickly we could, if we knew where we were going, we Control A, use our Control square bracket or our font here, and then center it. Now we're eventually going to put a picture right there, but I'd like to come down here and actually, this is like first 50 customers that register get a free bottle of vitamin C. And then here's a kind of a list of things that are going on. I'd actually like to keep this a little bit separate. I'm going to click right here and hit Enter. And I'm going to hit Enter again. I'm going to highlight all this, and now I want to align this over this direction. I could go like this. Or what do you think the keyboard shortcut for left is? Control L. Now I'm going to come over to the selection bar and click and drag, and I'm going to add some bullets. I'm just going to come up here, and here's some bullets. Those are numbers. If you don't like those bullets, you can right-click and go to Bullets and select some whatever bullet you like. I'm going to keep that one right there. All right, now, next we'd like to highlight this using Control and this because I want these two things bigger than everything else. Now I'm going to use my square bracket, Control square, close square bracket, ding, 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 ding. And when I get one too big, right there, and then I'm going to use the open square bracket to go back one. You could easily have used that right there. Now I'm going to add some color here. Now I'm not too good at making these flyers look good. Again, the textbook gets into great detail about the formatting. But here we're going to do some character level formatting. Maybe some dark blue here. We could even do something fancy like add some what I call bucket color. But it's really fill for the whole paragraph. I could go like this. Oh, no, that's terrible. The rule is fill and font color should be dramatically different in terms of value. So if this is dark, this one has to be light. I'm going to select white. All right, we are eventually going to put a picture right here. Let's just go ahead and try that. Now, I can already see that that picture can't be too big, because if it's too big, it's going to push this list off the bottom. No problem. We can fix that later. I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to use clip art for this one. In the textbook, they use pictures, and we all have pictures on our cameras and download them on our computer. A picture is just a file. So you can, we'll go to Insert. A picture, if we had one, you just go boop, and then navigate to wherever your photos are and double click the actual file. And that would be inserting a picture, as easy as that. We're going to do clip art. And actually, I want to search, because clip art can make you search. I'm going to double click cornucopia, copy, because I'm going to search for cornucopia, clip art. Now, again, when you click clip art for the first time, it says, do you want to connect to Microsoft.com? That's usually a good idea, because they have lots of cool clip art. You could also go to Google, and there's 100 other sites that have clip art. I'm going to Control V and then click Go. Oh, so there it is, cornucopia. I'm going to select this one. Oh, I made the cardinal sin when you're inserting. Remember, we talked about this in a couple of videos ago. When you insert something, it's getting inserted wherever your cursor is. Now, cornucopia went away, and this was there. I'm going to Control Z. Click over here and Control Z. What happened was, sure enough, I have that highlighted. It obeyed me perfectly. It put it where my cursor was, which was highlighting there. So I want to click there and click this. Close the task pane. I'm going to Control and roll my cursor. Oh, yeah, look at that, off to the next page. There's a bunch of ways we could deal with this. One way is to click on your picture. And there's two things I want to show here. One thing is we crop. And the other one is just change the size of it. Now, crop we're not going to use here, but cropping is a great feature in Word. Say you have a picture here that you took, and there's a bunch of junk you don't want. You just select the picture, click on crop. Oh, and those little translucent balls, or sometimes they're black squares, go away, and you can click to any one of these positions. Notice my cursor, and you can click and drag, and it crops it. I'm going to Control Z. Escape, because I don't want to crop it. Now I'm going to point to the edge, any one of these edges, and when I see that diagonally pointing arrow, I can click and drag in. All right, still a little bit, and there's 100 different, well, there's probably 10 good ways that you could do this. I'm going to try some margins. Now, margins are section level formatting, which we'll talk about in chapter 2 or 3. But let's go to page layout and just see margins. Now, we could just do margins right here. There's some built-in ones or custom. But, you know, oftentimes these buttons, I just skip over that and I go right to this. This has a lot of the things that are up here, plus more. Now, margins, the top is fine. I'm going to hit Tab. Bottom, I'm going to type 0.5. Tab, that's left. Tab, that's right. And I'm going to type 0.5. And then click OK. All right. Now, I'd probably add a few more formatting things here and there to emphasize. Maybe change the font size of this so it's on one line. Again, I'll let the textbook do that. But I do want to show a couple other tricks. Now notice this is our start file, and we haven't hit S, Control S so far. I want to save as. I want to call this something different. So I'm going to hit F12. Where do you want to save it? The location is fine. What do you want to call it? It's definitely not fine. I'm just going to highlight the start. And notice here it might be tricky to not include that dot. So I'm going to put my cursor and hold Shift and then arrow, 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 arrow. And then I'm going to hit the delete key. What's the keyboard shortcut for delete? Yeah, delete key. All right, and then the extension's fine. All right. Now, we've saved this as the health food flyer. Now I'm going to hit F12 again. And again, what do? We talked about, oh, I don't think we did talk about this. When you save as, there's our original flyer still there. Oh, and save as, it created a whole new file. So now we have two. Now I want to create a third one. And I want to, at the end of this, and if you can't quite get to, you're like, oh, I can't get it, then use your arrow keys to navigate to right before the dot, and I'm going to type style. I want to talk about styles. There's some built-in styles and color changes, abilities that kind of add some nice quick formatting. I'm going to highlight this line right here, and I'm going to hold control, and highlight that line. And I want to clear formatting. I'm going to go up to Home and then click on this eraser. Ooh, yuck. But it got rid of all that stuff, and now I'm just going to square bracket and increase that again. Actually, you know what? I'm going to Control Z. That was silly. Control Z, 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 Z. That was silly. Really, now that I have it highlighted, I should just get rid of the border. So oh, no color. Oh, and now the white, the font. So I'm going to come over here and say automatic. Now what I'd like to do is show you how to use change styles. In the textbook, they show you how to use this text effects. And you can create, in fact, I'll do one of them just to show you, emphasize. It's not going to look very good. There's one right there. But as soon as you do that, it opens up the ability to use change styles, which we'll see in a moment. I'm going to Control Z because I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use something different. I'm going to use styles. And I'm going to show you styles. We're going to look at heading 1 style, heading 2 style for the first time here. We'll come back to styles many times because heading styles, in particular heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, are the door that opens up the ability to do a lot of advanced tricks. All right, so I'm going to highlight those 2 items, and I'm going to apply heading 1. Now, that's silly right there, but it will allow us, it will open a door for us. So I'm going to increase the font size, some square bracket, and then I'm going to try, ooh, look, I'm backspacing until I got that back on this page. And then I'm going to Control E for center. Now, that's heading 1. Now, I'm going to click the More button, and I don't see heading 2 here. And I have no idea why the default in Word doesn't show you heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, because there's so many cool tricks you can do with them. Unfortunately, we have to click this button right here. And then down here at the bottom, isn't this a circuitous route to get to it? And then click Options. You might have to take notes here. I don't think this is in my notes. And then, sure enough, here in current document, I want to select this drop down and say, please show me all styles. Right? So that one right there for styles, dialog launcher. Down at the bottom, options, and then all. Click OK. I'm going to close this. And now, oh, I guess I'm not. Let's see if I scroll down here. No, it won't let me see it. So I'm going to have to open this back up. This is the task pane. And somewhere down here, we'll see heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, etc. I want to add, notice there's a non-printing character. That means style. I want to add heading 2 to this, and this, and this. And I want to scroll down to the H's, and there's heading 2. And then I'm going to Control E to center and increase the font size a little bit. Now, why are we doing all this? Again, because it's going to unlock a cool little trick here. And you could add some more headings in here or use this. And now watch this. This is just great. If you click on change styles, you can actually change the style set and watch what happens. This is called live preview. Oh, look at all these amazing modern perspective simple thatch. All of these things. None of this works unless you use heading 1, heading 2, or this text over here. I'm going to stop on modern right there. Wow, cool. Oh, now I'm jammed onto the next page. I'm going to have to do some fancy footwork here. Not quite sure what I'm going to do here. Let's change the size of this a little bit. I'm going to click right here and hit the delete key. I deleted that paragraph marker. I'm going to click right there. Remember, delete sucks from the right. Delete. Oh, that's OK. And then delete. And then delete. All right, now I'm going to click there, hold Shift, click on at the end, and then I'm going to square bracket, control square bracket, square bracket, square bracket until I fit on the page. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do colors. And no way, you have all these different colors and you can select them. And they tend to have some pretty nice colors built in. So I'm going to select maybe aspect. Ooh, yuck. Obviously, this is supposed to attract people to, I'm going to select flow. And then finally, you can select fonts. And as you, scroll through all the fonts, you can pick which one you want. Oh, that one looks kind of nice. Let's try that. That shoves it down to the next page again. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click there, hold Shift, and click at the end. And now I'm going to square bracket. And notice the thing about this is it'll increment this by 1, which is smaller, and this one. Right? If you use this trick up here, it does them all the same. But this control square bracket, oh, it increments, even though this is bigger and this is smaller, 1 at a time. All right, now I probably didn't do too good of a job here. I'm going to, I see a problem here. It seems to be too close over here and too close over here. I'm going to go to page layout and this one. Actually, we know the keyboard shortcut. We talked about this before. Alt key. There's a P up here, so you hit P. And then there's a SP. Again, once you do this a lot, you'd memorize it. And gutter position. I don't see. Oh, the top. Oh, left. I totally missed this. By the way, gutter is for like when you're writing a book. Top. So I'm going to do left, 0.5. I can't believe I missed that. And bottom. Yeah, I must have been sleep teaching when I did that earlier. What we really wanted was top, bottom 1, and then 0.5 on the side. I'm going to click OK. And maybe I'm going to do that again. Alt PSP. I'm going to type 0.5 tab, 0.5 tab, 0.5 tab, 0.5. That's just a blind way to put them all 0.5. None of the gutters because we're not writing a book. Click OK. There you go. Now maybe I can highlight this and then control square bracket. I can go 1 too far and then 1 back, right? All right. Couple more things. Borders and document properties. Borders, now in the textbook, they have you do a page border. I'll show you that just for a moment. Go over to Home. In the Home Ribbon paragraph book group, this is a paragraph level of formatting for, in some cases, other cases, it's section level formatting. Here's borders. I'm going to go down to borders and shading. Now, in the textbook, they do a page border. And then you could select a line, select a color, select a width, and then boom, 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 boom. And then, actually the cool thing is there's all these pictures, right? So you could put apples around it. I'm going to click OK. This will look silly. Ooh, you'd want to change the margins because obviously that's not set up to incorporate artwork in a page border. Control Z. You could actually put a border, and this is not in the book, but just for kicks, I'll show you. We're almost done here. Borders and shading. You can notice I have just the text highlighted. So if I select box and then click OK. It puts it just around the text. I'm going to Control Z. Also, if you have your cursor in the paragraph, then paragraph by default, you could select like this, outline, or go down to this one down here and do that. I'm going to Control Z. All right, that's health food flyer. We talked about backing up, extracting files, navigation, selection, a little bit about formatting. And in next 2 videos, we have 2 more videos for chapter 1, a spell check video, and a save as web page and link video. All right, see you next video.